So okay, let's talk about something you do now. So we talk about Insecure.
Yeah, we could do that before AYA. Yeah.
So how'd y'all like the episode?
I liked it. And again, I think I explained it last week's episode. I'm just liking the simplicity that they're not saying we gotta do some grandiosity moment. I guess Molly's mom having spoiler alert. Right. But I guess maybe Molly's mom having the stroke is maybe a grandiosity moment where I'm like, okay, are they starting to reach a little bit? But it shows the health of, I guess, at least Molly and Issa's relationship. But then just
when they took her family into that room,
honey,
I fell.
Bitch.
They were like,
that was.
And the look that the two families gave each other is such a real ass moment, because we've all had moments where people have mistaken black people, and you look at the other black person like,
yeah,
like, it's like these motherfuckers mistook us.
That doctor was animate too. Like sometimes after a stroke, you know, your body changed. He was like, "You think I'm that?"
Wait, why the son said her dressing wasn't the best, but I didn't mean to hurt her feelings. He's like, and I meant it. He's like, it was for real. And then he's whispering in her ear, it was the best paprika you ever used.
It was enough paprika.
Right.
It was the best dressing you ever made.
I was like, I'm so done.
I fell out. That part was too funny for me.
But like, just even like the simplicity of just like Issa and Nathan, and Nathan walking out in his underwear looking cute and shit. I was like, come on, Nathan, hey, body. I don't know. I just like the simplicity of the season that is not trying to go over the top for me. So yeah, like, I mean, I feel like every season at the halfway point, because we're at the halfway point now, they always have that one episode where you could tell you're at the halfway point. And I felt that this was that episode for sure. But it was funny. It was probably the funniest episode of the season.
Yeah, it's my favorite of the episode of the season so far. Yeah, I loved everything about it. Like, even from where Issa was like, you know, I'm trying to take things slower this time, and he was like, so fucking on no Ferris wheel on the second day ain't taking it slow.
She was like, you right.
You right.
Yeah.
But
wait, did we know Molly had a dog?
Yes, we knew she had a dog.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Let me tell you.
This dog
and so did Issa. She said, "Oh yeah, that."
I felt like this is the first. I felt like this episode was shot like how season 1, season 2 were shot. Like it took me back to like that when like the conversation just going, and you know something out the wall is going to happen. Either it's going to be funny, it's going to be whatever, but you know something's coming. And I just like, it was so easy to fall into this episode.
Yeah.
Like every bit of it, like the high stuff, you know, the high energy stuff with like the, you know, the stuff at the hospital, but then like the low energy stuff with like him or like Nathan and Issa exploring their relationship with one another and just feeling finally comfortable with one another.
It's not overacted. They do a great job of not overacting.
Yeah.
They do a very good job of like almost like the small talk that people have day in, day out. They act the shit out that part, because it feels like they're like, it doesn't feel like they're reciting lines on a page.
Right.
Like, and I'm just like, especially like the scenes with Nathan and Issa, like it was just so easy that you forgot somebody had to actually write that shit out. They had to memorize them lines and act it and probably do it 20 takes, you know, and each take feeling that natural. So that's why I absolutely thought they nailed on this particular episode. I love the little moment in the bathroom with Molly and Issa too, when Issa put on the dress.
She was like, "Ooh, damn, I look good," and she's like, "You look too good, girl."
No, you don't.
No, you're not.
So yeah, so it was a very.
And the vibe, she's like, "Did you fuck her that? Did you fuck her this dress? Because I fucked her that."
I made that.
It was
That's
just
a real ass statement too.
Like I love seeing them, like their friendship being back, like on track, and it is so pleasant. Like I didn't realize how much I missed it.
Yeah.
Like seeing that type of friendship between each other. Like even when she was sitting in the room and she's like, "You may go get us some coffees?" She's like, "Yeah, okay." And then Molly was like, "I'm not getting that back." No, you're not getting that coffee back.
Exactly.
No, you already knew.
Those moments that I adore of this show.
Yeah.
And I also loved Betty, can you text the prayer?
Can you text?
Because I was like, God, that is such a Black family moment.
It really is.
Like Betty want to pray. Betty want to pray over the phone.
Yeah. And I also like the dynamic too of Black families in hospitals, though. Like that's one thing that I thought was underlined, that was very subtle, is just, Black folks in healthcare, like the fact being that she had a stroke already, and they didn't even know. Because you got to be strong. Those are the type of things, you really don't talk about until it's too late. So I really just like that little lesson in there about, like not waiting to the end. And I kind of felt sad because, like Molly was trying to get them to get their estate in order and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So.
But it's interesting how they still, go ahead.
I thought that Molly did a really nice job. Like her character did a nice job in that moment. It showed like her growth, because usually she comes out and she's overbearing.
Yeah.
And like she was in control, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was a calmness, it was support in her voice. Like it had different energy, but she was still able to ask the right questions and, make sure the situation.
Do you feel like though, like she's still showing glimpses of, and it happens in just real life, like even as much as you work on yourself, there's some things that are just, even if it's good or bad, core to your being that kind of still slips out. Do you feel like they were showing hints of Molly still needing to do work and she might crack in later episodes, like how she was still taking on too much work from work and might have been overbearing here and there and things like that, but like, okay, it's trying to like still control. Do you think that's a precursor to the latter part of this season?
I kind of think so. I mean, honestly, like as much as we've seen growth from her, I think she's going to have another low.
Yeah.
Like, because I think she's too focused on doing the work that she may be overdoing it, if that makes sense. Like she may be missing the point. And I think that's what, So
it'll be interesting. So, okay, we're at the halfway mark of the season. What's your score on the first half?
I gave it a solid B.
Okay.
I give it a solid B. Oh shit, we didn't talk about the end. Did anyone else go, oh shit, at the end of the episode? I said, oh.
Yeah.
And then I didn't think she was gonna say, wait. I said, bitch, what you say wait for? Like, what?
Yeah.
Girl. I was like, oh, I'm here for the mess. I'm
right?
here for the mess. I didn't know I needed it.
I'm glad that they even thought of that. Because there were so many other things going on at the hospital at that time that you just didn't really need that storyline. But oh, what a juicy moment!
It really, really was.
And
so
the look on his face.
And so maybe that's another precursor. We see Molly and maybe some of the cracks, and right when we see Issa saying, "Okay, I love you, Nathan," and things like that, maybe there's still those vulnerable cracks that they're setting up for the latter half, and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think she's not going to end up with Nathan. Just because
I like they showed that him taking his medicine too. By the way, I like that. That was just like a little something, but I was like, oh, that's dope to see. He's taking care of himself.
Yeah. By the scenes of next week's episode, I don't think Nathan and Issa are going to survive after next episode. I think it's going to be grand opening, grand closing. And because, I mean, first of all, you ain't looking at no other dude like you did with Lawrence. And you said, I love you to another nigga? Like, you got some shit to figure out, girl. You got some shit to figure out. Because it shouldn't be like that.
And he didn't say I love you back. Did you catch that? He didn't say I love you back.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
No, that's a whole nother thing. So maybe
wasn't it interesting? Wasn't it interesting the dialogue they were having at the beginning where she was talking about like all these things that actually apply to herself?
Yeah.
And both of them, Molly had a couple of moments too where she was saying things and they were kind of giving her that look like, well, bitch, yeah. Like, apply that to your life.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, Dawon, what's your grade for the first half of the season?
I'll say a C.
Okay.
I'll say a C. Yeah. Okay. It's not where my expectations were, and that will be an A. And I would feel so. Like right, because what else would it be?
That would be an
A. So yeah, like I think it's not lived up to my expectations. And then I wonder how much of it is like artistic choice versus I'm just not resonating with some of them.
Yeah.
And there was like a couple of other things, like, the fact that we skipped so much time, and then we apparently skipped over a lot of what they could have been working through, and Molly cutting her hair, and that was never addressed, still has not been addressed. I would say C.
I would say I'm probably like around that B plus, probably like an 87% B plus, where it's like it's on the border of a B. I feel like this latest episode bumped it up a little bit for me. Like it reminded me why I enjoy Insecure so much. I love all the more Kelly scenes we got in this season, because I think she's an underrated character in this show. I love that they stepped it up clothing wise, music wise, everything, lighting wise, everything. So that's still high for me. Episode 2 was still kind of like a episode, so I still have that in the back of my mind. Like, okay, they still capable of that kind of an episode. But for the most part, I just like the simplicity, and then they're not trying too much to cram too much in the last season, because that's where I feel like a lot of shows go wrong, where they're like, oh, we want to do everything we haven't been able to do yet in one damn season, and it doesn't feel like the show anymore. So at least it still, for me, feels like Insecure. So we'll
even from a writing standpoint, it's the final season, and yet I don't feel like, based on the episodes that I've seen, that these were written for a final season.
Got it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that, and maybe that'll change. Maybe that's been like, it's the like the faux insecurity,
right.
Inviting us in and say, okay, well, we're not going to do that much to you. Come on, baby. Come on inside.
Because they have said in like the interviews that we're not going to like this last season, the ending. So I'm like, what they about to do to us?
Yeah, they said, because they were saying that like they thought it was a great way to wrap it up. They were like, they did it justice by the characters, not the audience.
Right. So I'm like, they're about to make us mad about something.